one of my favourite ways of catching fish on a method feeder, and it is one of the simplest ways of catching fish on a method feeder. We've had an amazing day's fishing here at Holly Farm, venue very close to my Leicestershire home. We've been casting a method feeder over to the far side, and we've been catching loads and loads of smaller fish. There's loads of fish in this lake, but we know that the bigger fish love a trip into the margin every now and again, especially at the end of a session, especially when the weather is as beautiful as it is today. And what I thought I'd do is have a quick go in the edge, because you don't have to fish, oh there we go mate, you don't have to fish a pole every time in the margin to make the most of that key area of your swim. Sometimes a feeder placed in the margin is going to catch you just as many, if not more fish. So this is a gnarly old warrior. It's probably about 6 or 7 pound though, so in a match, well worth catching, let me tell you. Let me show you how we're catching these fish. We'll put this fish back. We're not bothering with a net. Put him back, there you go mate. Hopefully we catch him on one of the matches in a couple of weeks time when I return. So, feeding, really important this is. You've got to get it right. This little feeder is not going to do the job on its own. So what I want to do, get a nice, soft, but heavy ball of ground bait. We're only fishing literally down there. I'm just trying to get the ground bait to go like as close to the bank as possible, almost like nestle in the roots. I want the ground bait really close to the bank. You can see there, it almost bounced off the bank, that little ball of ground bait. We're going for really simple stuff. Single maggot on the hook. I've got my feeder, the same mix. This is the Swim Stim feeder range of ground bait. It's Swim Stim green from the feeder range. You're getting a big bulk bag. There's loads there for a session. Mix it nice and heavy. It's got a bit of extra fish meal in there, so you know you're going to have a great ground bait for warmer months. I'm not bothering with a mould. I'm just literally gently putting a single maggot on top of that ball. We're not casting, so we don't need it on there nice and tight. And this place is absolutely solid now. The time of day has arrived where those fish want to be in the edge. I'm not even going to take my bail arm off. So on a lot of feeder matches, you know, especially World Champs feeder matches, although I know we're not fishing a World Championships at the moment, you have to take your bail arm off to cast. I suppose I could take the bail arm off, but what I like to do, just measure it down to the base of the rod. So that feeder there is level with the base of that rod. There's one down there already. I'm just going to swing that feeder down there, gently lower it in. I'm going to take my bail arm off now, being really careful not to move that feeder. And we're going to see if we can catch another. The drag on the reel, I've set it so I've got some play there. I don't want it super light, because if I get one, oh, I think one got away with it then. If I get one and it sort of stays in the peg and I need to sort of pull into the fish, I just don't want line going all over the place. I want plenty of freedom. One got away with it then. We're dragging all over the place. Let's have another cast down there. I want that drag to just give when I pick up, and I want it to give enough that a fish isn't going to break me on the bite. So it's just about getting that balance right. I don't like that super light drag that acts like a bait runner. It just needs to give a little bit, because I'm going to be straight on that rod anyway. So we're lightly on that feeder. You can see there's still one down there. I don't want to feed any more bait because there's still fish down there. It's about 18 inches deep, but there we go. That's gone in there. Problem with this method is you can get a few line bites. Obviously there's a lot of fish in a small area. Put that on the rest. Trying to keep the line reasonably slack. Obviously we're fishing with an inline feeder. I could be using an elasticated feeder if I'm honest. A fixed feeder with elastic. That would be fantastic. That big boy, he's close to my feeder. He's really close to my feeder, that big fish there. Let's see if he's going to take it. He's coloured up nicely down the edge as well, so I'm hoping we get a few doing this. Oh, there we go. God. The bites are amazing, you know, when it's at such short range, whether it's a big fish or a smaller fish, the bites are absolutely superb because obviously no stretching the line. I don't think we were attached to that big fish that was down there, but we're attached to a fish. Could be a little F1, this one. Oh no, there's a little carp. Sure, there's a little carp. There we go. Another carp. Should we go for free fish in this little video? Slightly bigger bait that they can pick out down there. I'm not going to feed. We caught that fish so fast after feeding that I'm not going to feed. Double maggot. Making sure I don't move that feeder once it's in the water. So bail arm comes off as it hits the bottom. One over the top of the feeder already. Look at that big fish down there, look. Oh, they're the ones that we want, aren't they? Big old unit. Amazing how confident these fish are when you reach that time of day where it's sort of late afternoon. We've got the beauty today of this area of the lake, this corner of the lake to ourselves, so obviously, it's not, it's just an F1 I think. I'd love to catch that big old boy, wouldn't we? Look at that, another F1. He must have took a run up, mustn't he, to take it? Let's see if we can just catch it. Yeah. Look at that, beautiful F1. It's like a ghost F1. Like I say, no need to, I'm not fishing a match, there's no need for a keep net today. And I think as well, for you guys that obviously love a bit of pleasure fishing, not putting a keep net in really helps because for whatever reason, the fish feel much more comfortable to come into the margins when there's not keep nets everywhere. They patrol them margin areas with a lot more confidence. I don't want to preoccupy those fish with my loose feed now, so I think we've got enough bait in the swim. So we'll just see if we can do everything with our feeder, because that big old boy, when he came in a second ago, he was trying to eat the bait that I chucked in near the bank, and I want every fish around my feeder. Let's see if we can catch a big one. There's definitely loads of big fish in here. The margins are colouring up massively. I think when you get that colour in the margins as well, that creates more confidence. So it just keeps going and going, because the more fish that come into the margins, the more coloured it gets, which means more and more fish are going to feel confident there. Bites are absolutely amazing though when you're fishing this close. Like that, there you go. Oh, another one. Again, I don't think it's a big fish, but isn't. Can't really catch them much faster. It looks like that big old boy down there is going to elude me, but I'm going to keep trying to catch him. I think we've shown you that the margins can be as simple or as difficult as you make them. You don't necessarily need a load of pole gear. You don't necessarily need to fish miles down your bank. Catch the fish, make it as simple as possible, but you need to feed them and give them the right bait. That's what we're doing now. Till next time, folks, tight lines.